Hello and welcome to this Warhammer 40k battle report with me, Mark, from the Xenoviz channel. Today's battle will be a 2,000 point battle between my Tyranids, the list which is featuring in our battle league, and my newly completed Grey Knights. They're 2,000 points because they have an ally with them, an Imperial Knight. It looks lovely, I'll show that off in a minute. This battle report is going to be a slightly different style. I'd love to know what you think in the comment section below. It's going to be slightly more narrative driven and story based as well, with some talking over the top. So let's get straight into it. We'll have a look at the board, the mission, the deployment of the armies, and then go straight into it. Today's mission will be, deployment-wise, Dawn of War. And the mission itself will be Purge the Alien. The Grey Knights have arrived on this planet and they have found no demons, but they have found a lot of psychic energy from the Tyranids and want to prevent this. So the board is on a grass world planet and both armies have deployed now. The Tyranids allowed the Grey Knights to deploy first, so let's take a look. We have a Dread Knight, the new Imperial Knight Titan. I do believe it's a Vanquisher with all the extra weapons and deadliness, and a Razorback with 5 Grey Knights in them. We've got a squad of Drago with a squad of Paladins with an Apothecary, and a Librarian level 3 with some Terminators with Demon Hammers. And on the Tyranid side, there is a Toxicrin, Winged Tyrant, 3 Warriors, an Exocrine, 30 Hormagaunts, 3 Zoanthropes, a Venomthrope, another Winged Tyrant, 3 Carnifexes, 30-man squad of Termagants, and a Tervagon. Let's go into the story. So rolling for night fighting is no night fighting. And stealing the initiative, the Tyranids do not steal the initiative, so we will go into Grey Knights. Turn 1. Being an elite force, the Grey Knights look upon the horde of the Tyranids. Only a few of their units on the planet at the start of the battle. The huge Imperial Knight and all its guns are slowly targeting individual units. Drago himself teleports down to the planet's surface, scattering back only slightly away from his intended target. Him and his Paladin unit arrive. The horde look on, hungry. The Librarian's unit of Terminators also teleport down to the planet. They too scatter, but slightly towards the Tyranid lines. With the Librarian will be his retinue of Terminators. Drago and the Librarian see the huge horde in front of them. And so the Dread Knight advances forward and sees its first target. The Librarian eyes up the Toxicrin and decides to cast Prescience on himself and his unit. The Hive Tyrant, though, does not like this, and the Tyranids are able to deny. The Dread Knight himself casting Force, using up his psychic powers and energies to try and manifest the Force, and he is able to manifest Force just there. Okay, so Tyranid is trying to deny the Witch. Unfortunately, they do not. So the Librarian eyes up a juicy target for Inferno, Pyromancy power, a large blast which ignores cover, which will be good. If he can get it off, he is able to manifest the psychic power. This psychic power is quite dangerous for
armies that are Horde armies. Oh, just resolving the perils. Number 5 there. What would that mean? Number 5 would mean take a leadership test and he suffers a wound. So, having to pass a leadership test, which the psychic... Yep, the leadership test is done, so no wounds were lost. Coming over across, looking for a good position for the librarian to fire his inferno. Just an overall view of it. Okay, rolling the scatter. Does the psychic powers make it accurate? No. Oh, scattering a huge 6 inches onto the horde itself. So missing the big gribblies. So, rolling to wound now. Can the psychic power of Inferno burst lots of gaunts into flames? 8 have been wounded. There's the horde. And after the psychic power, it's been reduced in number. So Calador Drago looking to do... So aiming to take a wound off the Carnifex. So getting the psychic power off, which is a good start for the Lord of War for the Grey Knights. You roll a d6 plus the leadership, and the Carnifex's leadership is low, so he's lost a wound. No armor or cover saves allowed. So the Dread Knight, using its large blast first. This is the heavy psi cannon. You can do that first so that you can get some of the gaunts. The target is the Tervigon, as the red dice indicates there. So rolling save for the Tervigon. The Tervigon made its save, but the gaunts that were underneath, unfortunately, did not make their save. So more Tyranid gaunts are down. So now the important one, rolling it for its silencer. Aiming for the Tervigon, shooting its now force bullets at it. If any of these become 6s to wound, it will wound it, which is brilliant. And if the Tervigon fails any saves, because of the force special rule, the Tervigon will be destroyed outright, which will be a huge blow to the Tyranids. And on a 2, the Tervigon has been completely wiped out. Now, when a Tervigon dies, it does cause an explosion, and you roll 3d6, and that is the result there. And that's the number of hits that Tervigon unit is going to have to take. So unfortunately, not a lot of wounds actually went through. So there will be a couple of saves to be made. And none of the saves were made. So 2 gaunts go with the Tervigon as well. So now the Razorback with its last cannon, hoping to take out the Venom Throat. If you can do this, then the Tyranids will lose a lot of cover. Aiming through the trees, right at it. It hits. It goes through the wound. Will it wound or does it bounce off? On a 6, the cover save is made. The Librarian unit is eyeing up the Toxicrin. There it is. They aim their storm bolters at this monster. Shooting with all their might, aiming for its head, for its weak points, trying to wound it. And the Toxicrin, although has shrouded, is unable to prevent the bullets going through, losing a couple of wounds. Now Drago, looking through the building, sees the warriors and orders his paladins to fire upon them. A good number of wounds there. A large amount of wounds go through. So saving for the 2, 4, 6, 7 wounds go through. Saving for the warriors now. And unfortunately, 1 goes down. 3 now become 2. Now, the huge Imperial Knight aims for the Winged Hive Tyrant. Now it is a Skyfire weapon, the Icarus gun on top, so it did need 6s to fire at the target that's not flying and failed. Firing the Gatling gun though at it, this is a 12-shot, strength 6, AP 3 rending. At first there were some good hits after targeting the Winged Hive Tyrant. Not so good on the wounds. However, the Winged Hive Tyrant is in range of the Venom Thrope and gets a 2-up cover save and fails 1. Now it fires its battle cannon. As it is a vehicle of, I'm going to call it the vehicle of doom, it's able to fire every single weapon at a different target. So this is the rapid fire battle cannon. Think of it as a battle cannon that can shoot twice, which is devastating. These are the saves to be made against it, and after everything that's happened, a large amount of gaunts go down, and the card effect on the right has lost 3 of its wounds. With a mighty scream, the Winged Hive Tyrant beckons its forces to advance, psychically telling each individual creature what it must do. So basically the Tyranids are advancing as far forward as they can. The Winged Hive Tyrant that has been wounded, which is the Warlord in this game, advanced forward in flight mode. Everything moves forward to get a better range of either being able to potentially charge or shoot. The second Winged Hive Tyrant advancing far up the field. And this is how the board looks at the end of turn 1's final movement. Still a lot of blue. So the Winged Hive Tyrant Warlord going into the psychic phase, trying to cast Catalyst on itself. It's able to put it through. Can the Grey Knights deny? No. And no. Now, Warp Blast is trying to be manifested from the Zone Thropes, and they are unable to manifest it. So, the Winged Hive Tyrant is eyeing up the Dread Knight, aiming its Devourer shots at it. These are homing. They home in on the signature of the Dread Knight, so he gets to re-roll to miss the Dread Knight completely, aiming to wound the Dread Knight. Can the Devourers take on the armour of a Dread Knight? They can, and they wound it once, bringing it down to 3 wounds. The other Winged Hive Tyrant eyes up the Razorback. Again, all of the Devourer's ammunition zooming in onto the Razorback, clunking against the chassis. Doing a huge 3 penetrating hits in a glance, but behind a wall it gets a 4-up cover save. The glance is saved, as is one of the penetrating hits. So a 4 and a 5 on the penetrating hit table. A weapon is destroyed and it will be snap firing next turn. Now the Razorback does have 2 weapons, and rolled off camera, the weapon that does go down is the Hunter Killer Missile. So the Razorback has 1 hull point remaining. The Toxicrin looks at its prey. It's salivating, its tentacles are thrashing. It fires its weapon, getting a direct hit. It is a poisoned weapon of a 2-up, wounding almost every single one of them. Can the Terminator's armour save them? Yes, it can. The mighty Grey Knight Terminators laugh. The Exocrine now fires essentially its plasma weapon onto the Paladins. Another direct hit. This will be deadly if it can wound them all. It does wound them all. The Paladins have 2 wounds each, so it needs to take a few of them down. So the first 2 are in front, failing 3 of their invulnerable saves. The last one on Drago. Drago passes his invulnerable save. Now for Feel No Pain for the 2 Paladins in front. They have lost all of their wounds, and now Drago's retinue is down to 3. The Warriors can also see Drago and his unit begin firing their devourers, hoping to wound some of the paladins, take them down. Wounding both times. The armour of the Terminators, though, invincible it seems. So now the Toxicrin advances forward. As it lumbers towards them, the Librarian issues a command to Overwatch. So firing their Stormbolters onto it. Unable to wound it. So the Toxicrin moves forward and is able to begin combat and start with its Hammer of Wrath, which does wound, but again the Terminator has saved. So now doing the attacks from the Toxicrin first. Only a few of them go through, but now needing 2 to wound. 3 wounds have gone through. Can they make their invulnerable saves? Are they 5 up? No, they cannot. 3 Terminators have gone down. Now they attack back with the Librarian, able to wound it more times. And these are Demon Hammers. Demon Hammers! Strength 8, AP 2, were able to take down the last 3 wounds of it. The Hormagaunts now try to advance forward and assault, but they were unable to. However, in the Overwatch phase, 2 hit and 2 wounds. So, 2 Gaunts are dead and no close combat. So going into Grey Knight's turn 2, the Librarian and his remaining Terminators advance forwards. Drago and his unit advance forwards as well. Though they are small in number, they are mighty. The Dread Knight moves back slightly, away from the Gaunts and getting a better sight for a new target, the Carnifexes. If he can get Force off again, this will be deadly for them. So, the Librarian tries to do Prescience, but fails completely. So now the Librarian aims to do Fiery Shield and getting it off. That the unit of Paladins now has a Fiery Shield. Trying to do Pyromancy now. The Pyromancy Inferno, able to do it. But being denied. Now try and activate Force and being able to do it. Razorback. As is snap shooting, so it may as well fire at the flyer. And misses again. The Dread Knight. This weapon is deadly. 12 shots. Force is activated on it. Needing Freeze to hit. A good number of hits now to wound. Are there any 6s? Yes. And 2 wounds have been lost, which means 2 Carnifexes are taken out of the game. Now, shooting at the winged Titan, who is now flying, so needing Freeze. 2 hits are made. Wounding on Freeze, 1 wound. However, the Warlord Hive Tyrant saves it. Now, it's devastating weapon. This will be Strength 6, AP 3, 12 shots. Can this Gatling gun take down the last Carnifex? Only 3 wounds. Can the Carnifex survive? The Venom Thrope is near having a 5-up cover save. And 1 wound is all it needed. And now the Carnifex, the one thing in the last battle report that these Carnifexes were in, they were able to take down the Imperial Knight. Now, no chance. Firing his battle cannon. Not scattering at all. So getting it on the Zone Throat and the Venom Throat. The second one scatters off completely. aiming to instant kill some of these Tyranid creatures. Able to wound a few of them, but they have saved everything. Now the librarian telling his Terminators to follow him, to shoot at the warriors, trying to wound these vile creatures. But the building has saved the warriors. Drago now eyeing up the Hormagaunts in front of him. They unleash their volley of Stormbolter shots, hitting their marks. However, they have cover from the Venom Throat. The gaseous clouds have spread across the battlefield, and 2 have survived, but a good number does not. Now the Terminators and the Librarian eye up the warriors. They can see them clearly coming through the door, so they fire their Overwatch. But nothing happens. The Terminators try and assault forward and burst through the ruined building. Drago sees the Hormagaunts and issues a charge. 6 inches is rolled. 6 inches was enough to get them in. So now the warriors will attack first as the Grey Knights stumbled through the terrain to try and slaughter them. Warriors are excellent creatures in combat, and these warriors have wounded twice. Terminators, however, have amazing armor. Fighting back with their demon hammers, these wounds will instantly kill any, and 2 of them have gone through, and 2 wounds have been made. So unfortunately for the Tyranids, 2 warriors have been killed, and they consolidate into the building. The Hormagaunts initiative 5 and Drago is initiative 5. The Hormagaunts will attack first against them, getting a good number of hits. Now aiming to puncture any weakness in the armor. With only 2 wounds though. Do they have a chance? No. Drago now swings his sword towards the Gaunts, slashing, going through, able to make contact with a few of the Hormagaunts, and wound 3 alone. 4 remain. Can the remaining paladins finish them off? The Hormagaunts are hard to hit, and being able to only take down 3, 1 remains. Drago and the paladin unit surround it, ready to chop its limbs to pieces. Tyranid turn 2. The Hive Tyrant bellows another scream, and the swarm move as one. The Winged Hive Tyrant jumps over, flying past the building and the Dread Knight. The Gaunts advance forward, trying to get a better angle to see the Dread Knight. The Exocrine smells there is danger on its left flank. The Venom Throat and Zone Throbes advance forward, trying to get in sight to fire their Warp Blast at the Imperial Knight. The second Winged Hive Tyrant advances forward again, getting at the side arc of the Imperial Knight. And the board now looks like this. The Winged Hive Tyrant Warlord now fires into the back. Psychic powers, trying to cast Catalyst. Able to make it, and unfortunately the Grey Knights cannot deny it. Zone Throat's trying to do Warp Blast. We are able to do it? No. No, they are not. The Grey Knights are dominating the psychic phase now. The Exocrine fires its plasma shots into the building, hoping to melt these Terminators. Needing falls to hit though, only 2 wound. And unfortunately, the building does not protect the Terminators and they are down, leaving the Librarian alone in the building. The second winged Tyrant that has caused catalyst on itself fires its Devourers into the back of the Dread Knight, hoping to find a weakness in its armor. A huge amount of its ammunition spews onto it. But unfortunately, the Dread Knight, with its 2-up armor save, is proving just too hard to take down. The Winghive Tyrant aiming at the side of the Imperial Knight, hoping to glance as much as it can. Needing 6s, not a single 6. The Librarian is not scared. Now into the assault phase. Drago sees the Hormagaunt as it swings furiously for its life, and as so is able to wound one of the Paladins. Drago now, enraged, grabs his sword and slices the Hormagaunt pretty much in 2. There it goes. So at the end, the board looks like this. As we go into turn 3 for the Grey Knights. The Imperial Knight moves backwards, protecting its rear armor. The Dread Knight ignores the Winghive Tyrant and has a new target. The Librarian leaves the safety of the building. Drago and his unit turns on the Exocrine. The Dread Knight itself, trying to cast Force, a deadly Force, and he's successful. The Tyranids are unable to prevent this from happening. The Librarian now, aiming for Inferno. And he is denied. Once again, Calador Drago sees the Exocrine and delves into the Psychic Core to do Purge Soul, which he is successful. And he is able to take a wound off the Exocrine. The Librarian now aims its Storm Bolter at the Zoanthropes. It's able to hit them, but unable to wound. The Dread Knight now sees its target, aiming for the deadly Zoanthropes and Venomthrope. The first Zoanthrope has been destroyed. It was not looking good for the Tyranids now with these Force ammunition. However, the 3-up invulnerable save from the Zoanthropes is able to protect the others. The Dread Knight now fires its large blast from the heavy Psy Cannon onto the Venomthrope and the Zoanthropes, landing a direct hit. Able to get a few wounds. And a Zoanthrope and Venomthrope has lost a wound each. The Razorback now firing into the Zoanthrope. Can he instantly kill it? He is able to hit. It is able to wound. The 3-up invulnerable save of the Zoanthrope saves it though. The Imperial Knight fires its Skyfire weapon at the Winged Hive Tyrant, hitting once, twice, wounding the Winged Hive Tyrant. Saves one, but one goes through. It is now wounded. The battle cannon firing at the Venom Throat and Zone Throats. The first shot is a direct hit. The second shot is also a direct hit. This is strength 8. If you can wound it, there'll be a few instant kills. One more Zone Throat is instantly vaporized. Drago shouts at his paladins to fire at the storm. The Exocrine with their storm bolters. However, they're unable to wound it. The bullets firing off the creature's carapace. The Imperial Knight fires its final weapon now at the Venom Throat, hoping to take down this vile abomination. With so many wounds that it was inevitable, the Venom Throat goes down. Drago and his unit charge the Exocrine. The Exocrine turns to meet them and fires its Overwatch. It's able to hit 2 of them and wound 2 of them. Drago, being the nearest one, Storm Shield does not protect him, and the Apothecary cannot heal his wounds. So Drago has been wounded in this battle. The Winged Hive Tyrant, taking a grounding test, is fine. The Exocrine now, watching as Drago slashes at it with his sword. Drago is able to cause 2 wounds to the Exocrine. However, the Paladins did not activate their Hammer Hand. Although they are able to hit a good number of times, they only wound it once. Bring it down to 1 wound. The Exocrine hits twice, able to wound just the once, failing an invulnerable save, but making the Apothecary feel no pain. With a huge scream that almost seems desperate, the Winged Hive Tyrant beckons its creatures. What little Tyranids are left on the field are urged forward with a lust for revenge and a predatory hunger. Everything moves into position. This Winged Hive Tyrant now lands and advances forward. The flying Winged Hive Tyrant attempts to cast Catalyst. It is successful, but perils. The peril result: power drain. Losing a wound. It has just caused Catalyst, so it takes a feel no pain, which is unable to save, and D3 psychic power. Go, and losing a wound. Now the Zone Throat trying to cast Warp Blast. Unfortunately, the Librarian is able to deny it. None of the Zone Throat psychic powers have gone off this entire game. The Winged Hive Tyrant now, doing a grounding test, is fine. The Winged Hive Tyrant now fires into the side arc of the Imperial Knight, firing its Devourers that are homing in onto the Imperial Knight. However, needing 6s to glance, not a single 6 was made. The second Winged Hive Tyrant does the same, hoping to glance this vehicle. again needing 6s to wound, and again not a 6 was made. It seems the luck of the Tyranids is not so good today. The Grey Knights are just overwhelming them. Even though they are a small elite force, the backup power of the Imperial Knight is able to provide artillery fire, whilst the Grey Knights go into close combat and slaughter the monsters. With it being Grey Knight's turn 4, everything moves out to get a better line of shots, trying to destroy the Tyranids this turn. The Dread Knight advances forward towards the Gaunts. The Terminator sees the zone throat, firing its Stormbolter, hitting once, wounding, but the save is made. Now the Paladins and Drago fire their Stormbolters at it, able to hit it a few times, causing some wounds. Can the Zone Throat save itself from the Stormbolter's shots? No. The Zone Throat goes down. Firing onto the Hive Tyrant that is now on the ground, needing 3s and 6s, not a 6. The Razorback, however, fires its las cannon at the winged Hive Tyrant, able to hit it, able to wound it, and causes a wound. Firing its Icarus cannon, hits twice, does not wound. Now firing its Gatling gun into the winged Hive Tyrant that is flying, the Warlord. Doing 2 wounds to it, and it fails its Jinx save.
Okay, and with that, the Warlord of the Tyranids is now defeated, and the only things left on the board is the other Winged Hive Tyrant and a small unit of Gaunts. So it is a Grey Knights victory. Grey Knights have won by... They are on 10 currently at the moment, and the Tyranids have 1. And if we do carry on, I do believe it's going to be a table-in. So let me know again what you think of this style of narrative kind of battle report. See if you like it, or if you just like us talking over the top whilst we roll dice. So Grey Knights, very effective. Force weapons hurt monstrous creatures, as we all know. And an Imperial Knight is a force to be reckoned with. Yeah. Yeah. The Winged Hive Tyrants just couldn't take it down. They needed 6s to glance it, couldn't get a single 6 on the penetrating roll, and it just decimated everything, which is brilliant for the Grey Knights because they need some help with the firepower, especially. So thanks very much for watching. Please comment, share, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.